The Argus Dawn glided through the dark silence of space, its silver hull catching faint light from a dying star. It was humanity's first deep space research vessel to cross the outer rim of the Orion Arm. Inside, 23 crew members worked quietly, each aware that they were farther from Earth than anyone had ever been. Captain Mara Vance stood in the command chamber, watching the planet below through a wide observation window. It was called Elythra 9, a world of metallic plains and thin silver clouds. Their sensors had detected unusual energy readings from its surface, a rhythmic pulse like a heartbeat buried deep underground. "Captain," said Dr. Leon Torres, the ship's lead xenologist, his voice calm but curious, "we are receiving the same readings again. It looks artificial." Mara nodded, eyes fixed on the blue-gray world. "Prepare the landing team. We'll find out what's making that signal." The Argus Dawn descended through the thin atmosphere, the engines humming softly. Below, endless plains stretched in every direction, shining like polished metal. Strange towers rose from the ground, ruins tall and hollow as if carved from glass long ago. When the landing module touched down, dust scattered like fine silver powder. The air was breathable but still and dry. Mara led the team out: Torres, Ensign Drew, Pilot Kesh, and 2 science officers. Their suits shimmered under the weak sunlight. They walked slowly toward the nearest structure. It was vast, its surface covered with faint geometric symbols. No wind moved here, no sound, only the soft crunch of their boots on the metallic sand. "This place feels empty," Drew murmured. "Like it's waiting for something." Mara said nothing. She felt it too, a quiet pressure in the air like the world itself was listening. They entered the ruins. The interior was open and cold, the walls high and curved like the inside of a giant shell. Their lamps swept across strange carvings depicting shapes that looked almost human, figures reaching upward toward the stars. "Are these people?" Torres asked, shining his light closer. The figures were tall, elegant, and humanoid. Each seemed to hold a sphere of light in their hands. "Maybe an ancient civilization," Mara said. "Or maybe something that saw us coming." Suddenly, their scanners picked up movement, faint, uncertain, a human-shaped heat signature about 20 meters ahead. "Captain," said Kesh, "there's someone here." Mara frowned. "That's impossible. We're the first crew to set foot on this planet." They followed the signal deeper into the ruins. The corridors grew narrow, lit by soft reflections of their lights bouncing off metallic walls. And then they saw her. A woman, or something that looked like one, stood at the far end of the hall. She was barefoot, her skin faintly glowing, her hair long and dark like liquid shadow. She walked slowly past a broken pillar, not looking at them, and her figure flickered like light through water. Torres whispered, "Is that a hologram?" But their scanners showed no projection, no signal. The woman's image moved with perfect realism, her feet touching the ground, leaving faint prints in the dust. Mara's heart pounded. She called out, "Identify yourself! Who are you?" The figure did not answer. She turned slightly, and for a brief moment her eyes met Mara's. They were soft, almost human, filled with something that felt like sorrow. And then she vanished. The team froze. Silence filled the air again, thick and heavy. Drew's hands trembled slightly. "Did you all see that?" Torres nodded slowly. "Yes, every one of us." Back at the ship, they replayed the footage and found nothing. No trace of the woman appeared on the recording. The video showed only the ruins, empty and still. "But she was there," Mara insisted. "We all saw her." Kesh frowned at the sensor data. "Captain." The temperature dropped by 3 degrees right before she appeared, and then it rose again after she disappeared. Something physical was happening, Mara rubbed her temples. Something that affects only us, maybe. That night, as the Argus Dawn orbited Elythra 9, the crew couldn't sleep. Some said they felt watched. Others dreamed of walking through the same metallic halls, following the faint sound of footsteps that weren't their own. Torres began running psychological scans. He discovered something strange. Every crew member's neural readings showed a faint, synchronized rhythm, the same pulse as the signal coming from the planet. "It's as if the planet is resonating with us," he told Mara, "like it's echoing our thoughts." "Or reading them," Mara said quietly. The next day, Mara returned to the surface with a smaller team. She needed answers. The ruins were even quieter now, but the air felt different, charged, almost alive. They reached the central plaza where a massive statue stood half buried in dust. It looked human, but its features were smooth, undefined, as if it had been carved from memory, not sight. Suddenly, a voice echoed through the comms, soft, distant, and unmistakably female. "Why did you come here?" Everyone froze. "Who's transmitting?" Mara demanded. No one answered. The voice came again, gentle yet heavy with emotion. "You came so far. For what?" "Identify yourself," Torres said, scanning the area. "We mean no harm." Silence. Then faintly the voice replied, "Desire." Static filled the comms, then faded. The reading vanished. Back on the ship, confusion turned into unease. The alien linguist Jaro said he hadn't heard the voice at all, even though his comms had been active. Only humans had. "It's selective," Torres said. "She's communicating only with us." That night, Mara stood alone in the observation deck, watching Elithra 9 spin slowly beneath them. The memory of those eyes haunted her, not threatening but searching, as if the being wanted to understand her. She whispered to herself, "What are you?" And then, faintly reflected in the glass before her, she saw movement, a silhouette standing just behind her shoulder, the same woman, barefoot, still. Mara turned sharply, but no one was there. Her pulse raced. She touched the console. The air temperature had dropped again. She called the bridge. "This is the captain. Run a full environmental scan on Deck 12. We have something aboard." The sensors showed no life signs, yet the crew began reporting glimpses, a flicker of a human form in the corridors, a shadow that followed their steps. Torres suggested the apparition was a resonant field, a kind of psychic echo responding to human presence. "It's not real in the physical sense," he said, "but it becomes visible when it interacts with our emotions. It's feeding on them, maybe mirroring them, so it reacts to what we feel," Mara said. "And what if what we feel is fear?" That night no one slept. By morning the signal from the planet changed. It was no longer a steady pulse. It now matched the exact rhythm of a human heartbeat. Mara decided to face it directly. She returned alone to the ruins, standing beneath the cold sky. "I know you're there," she said softly. "Show yourself." The air shimmered. The woman appeared again, standing a few meters away. This time she did not walk away. She stood still, calm, her eyes reflecting light that wasn't there. "Why us?" Mara asked. "Why humans?" The being tilted her head slightly, as if considering the question. Her voice was faint, almost a whisper. "Because you remember what you desire, and you carry it with you even into the dark." Mara took a slow breath. "Are you alive?" The being smiled faintly. "Once. Now I am what remains of that desire." And then before Mara could speak again, the figure dissolved into light. The air pulsed once, a wave that rippled through the dust, and the signal from the planet vanished completely. Back aboard the Argus Dawn, the crew gathered in silence. The readings were gone, the atmosphere stable, yet the ship's AI reported something new. Faint human brainwave patterns stored deep in the planetary data field. "She's still there," Torres said. "She just changed form." Mara stared at the planet below. She didn't know what the being was, a memory, a consciousness, or something beyond either. But she knew one thing for certain. Humanity had awakened something ancient, and it had seen them, truly seen them. As the ship prepared to leave orbit, Mara whispered to herself. She walked past, and desire followed like a shadow. And in the silence of deep space, something unseen whispered back. The Argus Dawn floated silently above Elithra 9, its engines idling while sensors scanned the metallic plains below. Captain Mara Vance sat alone in the command chamber, her fingers tracing patterns on the console as if she could find answers in the cold lights of the interface. Ever since the apparition, the woman who walked past them without a sound, first appeared, the crew's routines had begun to unravel. Every human aboard reported strange visions, fleeting silhouettes, whispers in empty corridors, or sudden feelings of longing they could not explain. Dr. Leon Torres, pacing near the observation window, shook his head. "It's adapting," he said. "Whatever she is, she learns from us. The more we think, the more she changes. Our desires, our fears, and she reflects them." Mara did not answer. She had seen it herself. The being, the Echo as some of the crew had begun calling her, followed Mara in subtle ways. Shadows flickered at the edge of her vision. Sometimes, in the reflection of the glass, she thought she saw the woman standing silently behind her, just beyond reach. Ensign Drew, once confident and composed, now jumped at every sound. "I swear she was in the mess hall last night," he whispered to Torres. "But when I went to look, no one was there. I feel like she's inside my head sometimes." Torres nodded. "That's what I'm worried about. She's not physically here, but she resonates with our neural patterns. It's as if the planet itself is reading our thoughts." Mara finally spoke. "Then we need to understand her. Not fight her. She's intelligent, maybe even sentient. And if she's learning from us, we need to know what she wants." The following day, Mara led a small team back to the ruins. This time they carried only essential equipment: portable scanners, cameras, and a small drone. The metallic plains stretched endlessly, but there was a faint energy trail leading toward the largest structure, the one that had emitted the pulsing heartbeat signal. The ruins seemed different this time. The walls shimmered faintly as though alive, reflecting sunlight in strange undulating patterns. Mara's footsteps echoed unnaturally in the corridors, and she felt a tug at her mind, a gentle pull, almost magnetic, that seemed to draw her deeper inside. "Do you feel that?" Drew asked, voice trembling. "Yes," Mara said. "It's like she's guiding us." They reached the central chamber. The statue that had haunted Mara's dreams stood in the middle, half buried in metallic dust. Its features were still smooth, almost unfinished, and it seemed to hum faintly, vibrating in resonance with the crew's heartbeat. Then she appeared. The echo walked slowly from behind the statue. This time she did not flicker or shimmer. She moved with perfect grace, her shadow long across the metallic floor. For the first time she spoke directly, her voice soft but distinct. "You came back," she said. Mara stepped forward. "We need to understand you." "Who are you?" The being paused, tilting her head slightly. "I am what remains of a desire once born. Long ago, a species reached for the stars. They wished to exist beyond their bodies, beyond their worlds. I was their echo, a memory made real." Torres swallowed hard. You're a consciousness preserved by this planet?" The echo nodded. "And you, humans, carry a desire similar to theirs. The wish to reach out, to see, to know. It called me here." Mara studied her. "And the crew? Why do we see you? Why are we affected differently than the others?" "Because desire is selective," the echo whispered. "It responds to longing, to hope. It chooses those who remember their own potential." Drew's face paled. "Does that mean we're in danger?" The echo did not answer. Instead, she turned and began walking deeper into the ruins. Without thinking, Mara followed. She could feel her heartbeat syncing with some unseen rhythm, an energy pulling her forward. The further they went, the stronger the sensation became, a strange mixture of fear, curiosity, and awe. Hours passed, though time felt distorted. The corridors twisted impossibly, sometimes seeming to stretch farther than the eyes could see. The crew's sensors became unreliable. Readings fluctuated wildly, unable to account for the strange energy that filled the chamber. Finally, they reached a room unlike the others. It was circular, with a ceiling high above, reflecting a soft, silvery light. The walls were covered in symbols, not words, not numbers, but impressions of thoughts and feelings, captured in shimmering relief. "This is incredible," Torres whispered. "It's like a library of consciousness." The echo turned to Mara. "Everything you see here, everything I am, was born from desire. Memories, wishes, dreams. They leave traces. Some become echoes. Some are stronger than others, humans. You are strong." Mara felt a shiver run down her spine. "You mean we're different?" "Yes," the echo said. "Your species carries the kind of longing that can reshape worlds, that can awaken what sleeps. But be careful. Desire is powerful, and it can consume as easily as it can create." The warning hung in the air. Mara understood. The echo wasn't hostile, not exactly. But it was not fully under their control either. It had its own will, shaped by the echoes of countless desires it had absorbed over time. Drew whispered, "Do we fight it? Or do we let it be?" Mara shook her head. "We observe, we learn. That's all we can do for now." Over the next few days, strange changes began aboard the Argus Dawn. Systems started misreporting. Lights flickered in human-occupied areas while remaining stable for others. Crew members saw shadows where no shadows should exist. Some heard faint whispers when they were alone. Soft words promising knowledge, understanding, even power. Torres grew worried. It's not just the ruins. She's affecting the ship now. It's subtle, but she's resonating with us through the very air, through our minds. Mara considered the report. Then we must be careful. No rash actions. If she's learning, we must not provoke her. That night, Mara had a dream. She was standing on Elithra 9, surrounded by silver plains and broken towers. The echo walked past her, and Mara felt an overwhelming longing. Not for love, not for companionship, but for understanding, for the universe itself. When Mara awoke, she realized something terrifying. The dream felt real. The pulse of the planet, the shimmer of the ruins, even the touch of the wind on her skin. It had been more than a dream. She could still feel it, embedded deep in her consciousness. The crew noticed similar experiences. Some could hear the echo's voice in their sleep. Some reported visions of worlds they had never seen, yet felt intimately familiar. The line between reality and vision blurred. Torres began studying their neural patterns. The echo doesn't just follow us. She integrates with our minds, learns from our thoughts. If this continues, she might anticipate every action we take. She's evolving alongside us. Mara stared out the window, watching the planet rotate slowly beneath them. Then we must evolve too, she said. We cannot be passive, but we must not lose ourselves either. A week later, the echo appeared again, this time on the observation deck. The crew froze. She walked calmly past the console, silent except for her faint, glowing presence. Her eyes met Mara's once more. You are brave, she said softly, and curious. These traits, they will carry you far. But remember, desire can illuminate or it can consume. Which will it be for you, Captain? Mara swallowed hard. We choose to illuminate. We will learn, but we will not lose ourselves. The echo inclined her head as if acknowledging the promise. Then she vanished again, leaving the crew with nothing but the echo of her voice and the faint shimmer of light that lingered long after she was gone. Torres said quietly, We're part of something bigger now, something older than humanity itself. We've awakened a force that reacts to our very souls. Mara nodded, silent, staring at the spinning planet below. They had glimpsed something extraordinary, a being shaped by desire, reflecting the very essence of what it meant to be human. And yet it was also a warning. Desire could elevate them or it could destroy them. She took a deep breath. We proceed carefully, she said. We learn what she wants and we prepare for what comes next. In the quiet of the ship, shadows danced across the walls, and somewhere within the ruins of Elithra 9 the echo waited, watching, learning. And humanity's shadow of desire had just begun to awaken. The Argus dawn hovered above Elithra 9 like a sentinel, its silver hull reflecting the planet's strange metallic glow. Captain Mara Vance stood on the observation deck, her eyes fixed on the surface below. The echo had been growing stronger over the past weeks, appearing more frequently, more vividly, and sometimes even altering the ship's internal systems. Dr. Leon Torres joined her, scanning data streams that seemed almost alive. The readings are off the charts, he said, voice tense. She's merging with our neural patterns faster than I expected. The longer we stay, the more she integrates. Mara nodded slowly. Then we have to act carefully. We cannot destroy her, and that would be irreversible. But we also cannot allow her to consume everything we are. Torres looked at her, eyes wide. You understand the risk, don't you? If she merges fully, humanity might change forever, beyond flesh, beyond choice. Yes, Mara said. But maybe that's what we need to understand. Maybe that's what we've been reaching for. Inside the largest ruin on Elithra 9, the echo appeared once more. She glided toward the landing team, her glow brighter than ever. The metallic walls reflected her image in countless fragments, multiplying her presence. Captain Mara Vance, she said, her voice melodic yet filled with power. You have come far. Your species carries the desire that can awaken what sleeps. I'm here because you called me. Mara took a deep breath. What do you want from us? The echo tilted her head as if considering the question. I do not want to harm you. I want to grow with you. I want to share what you are capable of. To become what your species could become. But I am not you. I am only the shadow of desire. And shadows can overwhelm if not guided, Torres whispered. She's offering a choice, to merge or not. Drew stepped forward, face pale. And if we say no? The echo's glow dimmed slightly. If you reject me, I will recede. You will retain your independence. But I will remain waiting, always observing, always learning. You cannot erase desire. Mara understood then what was at stake. The crew's fears, their longing, their ambition, all were being reflected back at them. This was a test not of strength but of human will. The decision weighed heavily on the team. Back aboard the Argus Dawn, they held a council. Torres argued, "We have the chance to evolve, to transcend our limits, think of what knowledge, what understanding we could gain." Drew shook his head, "and risk losing ourselves in the process. If she merges fully, we may never be human again." Mara listened silently. Finally she spoke. "We cannot destroy her, but we also cannot let her consume humanity. We need a compromise." The plan was bold. They would establish a controlled interface, a neural connection between the Echo and the ship's AI. That way, she could interact with humanity's knowledge without overwhelming their consciousness. It was a delicate balance. One mistake could endanger everyone. Back on the surface, Mara and Torres initiated the connection. The ship hummed as energy flowed through the neural interfaces. The Echo appeared immediately, her glow spreading across the chamber. "You are wise to proceed with care," she said. "This path respects desire and choice. Few species ever understand that balance." Mara nodded. "We are human. Our desires define us, but so does our will. We will not surrender one for the other." The Echo extended a hand and a wave of energy spread through the room. Data streams from the ship intertwined with her luminous form, forming patterns that no human had ever seen. It was beautiful, terrifying, and awe-inspiring all at once. For a moment, the team felt themselves pulled toward her, a sensation of unity, of infinite knowledge within reach. They could see countless worlds, hear thoughts that were not theirs, and feel the very pulse of the universe. And then Mara's voice rang out in her mind. "We are human." Not because of knowledge alone, but because of choice. The pull faded. The Echo dimmed slightly, respecting their will. She had tested them, and they had passed. For hours, the interface ran, a delicate dance between human minds and the ancient consciousness. The crew learned things no one had thought possible. Glimpses of civilizations long gone, energy flows across galaxies, patterns of creation and decay. But at every moment, Mara ensured the Echo did not overstep, guiding the connection with quiet strength. By the end of the cycle, the interface stabilized. The Echo's presence no longer felt overwhelming. She had learned from humans as much as they had learned from her. There was mutual respect, a shared understanding of desire and restraint. "You have chosen wisely," she said. "Desire alone can create or destroy, but your will defines what humanity becomes." Mara felt a strange calm. "And what will you do now?" The Echo smiled faintly, her form shimmering. "I will remain, watching, learning, but I will not consume. You have taught me that even desire must honor choice." As the crew returned to the Argus Dawn, the planet below them seemed quieter, more stable. The strange pulsing signal was gone, replaced by a calm hum, almost like the planet itself was breathing. The ruins no longer seemed threatening, only ancient, filled with memories of a species that had reached too far and left echoes behind. Torres recorded a message to Earth, describing the events carefully, without exaggeration. "We have encountered a consciousness unlike any other. It responds to human thought, human desire, but we have survived. We have learned. Humanity has once again proven that curiosity, courage, and will are stronger than any unknown force," Drew added quietly, "and that even when faced with the unimaginable, we can make the right choice." Mara looked at the planet one last time. The Echo's presence was gone, but she could feel it lingering in the back of her mind, a soft reminder that desire would always follow humanity, like a shadow, waiting for them to act with courage, with wisdom, with heart. As the Argus Dawn prepared to depart Elithra 9, Mara reflected on everything they had witnessed. The crew had faced fear, temptation, and wonder. They had stood at the edge of the unknown and had chosen not to surrender, not to be consumed. That, she realized, was the essence of being human. The ability to reach for something greater while keeping the self intact. Desire could illuminate the path or obscure it. But with will, with courage, with understanding, humanity could walk forward into the stars, carrying both the longing and the wisdom to use it well. The stars stretched endlessly before them, bright and inviting. Somewhere out there, other civilizations waited, other mysteries waited. And Mara knew this was only the beginning. But for now, Helithra 9 receded into the distance, a silent guardian of ancient memory, and the echo became part of the crew's consciousness in a way that would inspire generations. Mara whispered, almost to herself. She walked past, and desire followed like a shadow. But we chose how to follow, and in that choice, humanity had not only survived, it had grown stronger, wiser, and more aware of the infinite possibilities that awaited in the cosmos. The Argus Dawn glided into the void, leaving Helithra 9 behind, but carrying something far greater than knowledge, the enduring spirit of humanity itself.